buenas tardes.
Good afternoon to you all. I'd like to announce that we have had a bilateral meeting with President Obama and his team. This has been highly productive. Colombia and the U.S. have been successful partners in fighting against drug trafficking, fighting against terrorism, and in defending democracy. In this meeting, we have made even more progress. Our countries have moved from being just good friends and partners to become real allies. We are allies in building a new world order. The world of the 20th century is behind. It is in the past. Now there is a new international reality, and we cannot simply be passive observers of this reality. Only joint work of those who share the ideals of freedom and democracy may ensure a peaceful transition towards a better world, and we feel that we must work together. We have talked with President Obama about bilateral problems and world problems, and we have also worked at the Security Council, coordinating our positions, and we have been doing this, and we will do it at the G20, where we will meet in a few months, and here in this summit, in this Summit of the Americas. And we have had very positive results, and I'm not only saying this as president of this summit, but most of the heads of state and government who were present said the same thing. And one of the reasons why it has been so successful was thanks to the presence of President Obama, who stayed here for 2 nights, and we discussed openly and candidly and with respect and cordiality all problems. Everything was discussed, and that was really appreciated by Latin America and the Caribbean in a very special fashion. So I'd like to thank you, President Obama. This was part of the success of this summit. We all have the feeling that there are enormous opportunities to work together in a more integrated fashion. North and South America will be able to find common denominators that will create synergies for the benefit of the North American and Latin American peoples. In bilateral relations, I think that we have also made ways as never before, and I'd like to thank you, President Obama, for your permanent willingness, and not only working with Colombia, but with Latin America. You said something that really touched us, and that was that you did not see Latin America as a problem, or Latin Americans living in the U.S. as a problem, but the country as a contribution, as a supplement to the dynamics that make the U.S. what they are today. And that has a lot of value, and we would like to thank you for this. We would like to thank you not only as Latin Americans who live south of Rio Grande, but those who live, the millions of Latin Americans who live in the U.S. As for bilateral relations, finally, after working together for a long time between 2 countries and their delegations, we can announce today that on May 15th, precisely in 1 month, the new FTA with the U.S. will be enforced.
Esto significa miles, millones de
which means that there will be thousands and millions of jobs created for the U.S. and Colombia. It is a dream we had for a lot of time. Since I was the Minister of Commerce 20 years ago, we were dreaming of having free trade with the U.S., and this has become a reality today. Here in Cartagena, and right here, where not so many years ago, about 10 to 12 years, the Plan Colombia was launched. We were about to be considered a failed state. And today, thanks to the Plan Colombia and thanks to the U.S. and many others, and thanks to you, President Obama, for your permanent support that you have always given us. Today, we have a very strong democracy that is producing specific results for our peoples and that has been recognized by the world as a whole. Number two, we also agreed with President Obama to work together so as to help Central American countries in fighting against organized crime and drug trafficking. The experience that we have gathered through Plan Colombia, together with the United States, is something that we have the obligation of sharing with our brothers in Central America who are going through difficult times. So that is the reason why we've decided to strengthen and improve joint assistance mechanisms for these countries. Number three, we have agreed to work together so as to ensure energy interconnection of the whole continent. And this is something we discussed during the summit, but it concerns us very specifically here. Both the U.S. and Colombia may contribute to that interconnection. I am dreaming that at some point in time, no individual living in the Americas will be out of this interconnection, because that will help us a lot in fighting against poverty and for development. Number four, we would like to thank the American government for a decision, which is that as of now, visas given to Colombians will be extended to 10 years, which is a proof of trust in the country. And we would like to thank you very much for this. Not only on behalf of the government, but on behalf of the 46 million Colombians and the millions of Colombians who would love to go to the U.S. And that is why I think that we are strengthening these wonderful relations that we have always had with the United States and with you personally, President Obama. You have not only an ally, but a friend. You can count on us, and let's continue working together. We've been able to attain many goals up to date, and I'm sure that we will be able to be more successful in the future. So again, on behalf of these 46 million people in Colombia and all Latin Americans, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your interest. Thank you very much for coming to the summit and to this bilateral meeting. I think this has been a very important step forward in trying to work together in the Americas and the U.S. and Colombia. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, President Santos, for those warm words. Most of all, thank you, and thanks to the First Lady and the people of Colombia and Cartagena for your unbelievable hospitality. This is a beautiful city, and I'm going to do my best to bring Michelle and the girls back to come visit. This will be remembered as a summit that brought the nations of our hemisphere closer together, and it will be remembered that we advanced the prosperity and the security and dignity of our peoples. And I believe it will be remembered that our progress was made possible in no small part by the outstanding commitment and leadership of President Santos and his team. So, Juan Manuel, muchas gracias. As I said to my fellow leaders yesterday, there was a time not so long ago when few could have imagined holding a summit like this in Colombia. That we have, and that the summit was such a success, is a tribute to the remarkable transformation that's occurred in this nation. There's a level of security that's not been seen in decades. Citizens are reclaiming their communities. The economy is growing, as you can see in the skylines of Cartagena and Bogota. Democratic institutions are being strengthened. In Colombia today, there's hope. And this progress, once unthinkable, is a tribute to Colombian leaders, including President Santos. It's a testament to the extraordinary courage and sacrifices of Colombian security forces and the Colombian people. And now, as conflict begins to recede, this nation is embracing a new task, consolidating the gains it has won and building a just and durable peace that unlocks Colombia's incredible potential. Today I pledged to President Santos that as Colombia forges its future, Colombia will continue to have a strong partner in the United States. Now, when we met for the first time 2 years ago, we agreed to take the partnership between our two countries to a new level. This is part of my broader commitment in the Americas to seek partnerships of equality that are based on mutual interest and mutual respect. Here in Colombia and across the region, that's exactly what we've done. And today, President Santos and I reviewed our progress and, I'm pleased to say, reached agreement on several new initiatives. First, as has already been mentioned, we're moving ahead with our landmark trade agreement. At our meeting at the White House last year, we approved an action plan to ensure the protection of labor rights. We all know that more work still needs to be done, but we've made significant progress. And as a result, and given the actions taken by President Santos and the Colombian legislature, I can announce that the U.S.-Colombia Free Trade Agreement will enter into force next month, on May 15th. As I've said before, this agreement is a win for both our countries. It's a win for the United States by increasing our exports by more than $1 billion, supporting thousands of U.S. jobs and helping to achieve my goal of doubling U.S. exports. It's a win for Colombia by giving you even greater access to the largest market for your exports, the United States of America. And I'd add that this agreement is a win for our workers and the environment because of the strong protections it has for both, commitments that we are going to fulfill. So, President Santos, thank you for your partnership in getting this done. Colombia's economic progress puts this nation on the path to join the ranks of developed nations. President Santos has made it a goal to seek membership in the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and today I can announce that when Colombia is ready to seek it, the United States will strongly support Colombia's candidacy for the OECD. Moreover, we will actively encourage other members of the OECD to join us in supporting Colombia's membership, which would be another symbol of Colombia's transformation. Alongside our deeper economic cooperation, we're strengthening our security cooperation. The United States has been proud to stand with the Colombian people in their fight against a terrorist insurgency that took the lives of so many innocent civilians. I reaffirm to President Santos that the United States will continue to stand with Colombia shoulder to shoulder as you work to end this conflict and build a just and lasting peace. And that includes supporting President Santos' very ambitious reform agenda, including reparations for victims and land reform. And this afternoon I look forward to joining President Santos as he presents land titles to two Afro-Colombian communities, advancing the vision of a Colombia that is just and equitable. As Colombia grows stronger at home it's increasingly playing a leadership role across the region, a third area where we're deepening our partnership. Colombia has shared its expertise in security by training police officers in countries from Latin America to Afghanistan. Today, President Santos and I agreed that our two countries will work together to support our partners in Central America as they pursue a regional strategy to improve the security of their citizens. And this is just one more example of how Colombia is contributing to security and peace beyond its borders, including as a current member of the UN Security Council. I want to take this opportunity to salute Colombian leadership, from supporting the recovery in Haiti, to supporting sanctions against Iran, to standing up for the rights and freedoms of people in the Middle East and North Africa. And this week in Brazil, we'll join nations from around the world in advancing the open government that empowers citizens and makes governments more accountable. Now, finally, I'm very pleased that we're deepening the ties between our peoples. As it now stands, visas for Colombians to visit the United States expire after 5 years. As was just mentioned, I'm announcing that these visas for Colombians will now be valid for 10 years. And this will make it easier. This will make it easier for more Colombians to visit and experience the United States. And this is one more very tangible example of Colombia's transformation and the transformation in the relationship between our two countries. So again, President Santos, thank you to you for your leadership. Thank you to the people of Cartagena and the people of Colombia for this outstanding summit and your great hospitality, the warmth that you've extended us and the other leaders who gathered here. It makes me very confident about Colombia's future.
Tú me das cremita, yo te doy cremita, aprieta bien el tubo que sale muy fresquita. Tú me das cremita, yo te doy cremita, ponte boca abajo que queda una gotita. Estaba yo en la playa.